In today's episode, we are finally trying to replace the oil pan gasket on this BMW E90. You may not know, but I've tried this job for a few months now. I have the engine support now, and I didn't have on the car in here any tow hook. Let me try to show you. Oh my god, I have a lot of crap in here. So yeah, in here normally you should have your tow hook, and that was a big problem for me at that time because I've jacked up the car, I put the engine support, and I didn't know that I don't have any tow hook. I've tried with a Golf 4 tow hook that didn't work. I've borrowed a tow hook from a friend from 3 Series that didn't work as well because this is a US spec and the other one was European spec, and the tow hook was way taller than I thought. I've ordered a new tow hook, and of course the same problem. This is a European spec, I didn't receive a US spec, and it's way taller than a normal one. And finally, now that I have E39 again, I can use this tow hook from E39. So yeah, that's why I wanted to show you this first before I start doing the job, because maybe you will see in the video that I am using different tow hook. Now you know why, and now I can start the video. But first I have to tell you that please don't do this job if you are afraid to jack up the car, or if you don't know how to jack up the car, because you have to work under the engine, and the engine will be lifted in the air supported by this piece, and the car itself supported by the jack stands. Yeah, so this is a very risky job, very dangerous. Yeah, and that's why this video will not be any tutorial of any kind. For a real tutorial, I'm gonna put a link into the description box below. Yeah, you can follow that link to see a real tutorial step by step. And now I'm gonna start the video. Enjoy. So it doesn't fit, the tow hook from the Golf, it doesn't fit in here, so I have to call a friend that has a 3 Series like I have, and to borrow his tow hook. So finally I have the right tow hook. Another problem with this tow hook, I cannot lift the engine at all. As you can see, we have a gap in here about 3-4 centimeters, maybe more. So now that I have the tow hook from the E39, with this one I can lift the engine. I put everything is tight. Now I have to go underneath to start removing some parts. We have to remove this plastic cover, the other one, plastic cover removed. Everything was 8 mil in here, and just a 10 mil this nut. The same on this side, everything was with 8 mil tight, and we have a 10 mil in here. Yeah, okay, now we have access to this crossbar. Everything in here should be 16 mil socket. Yeah, and let's see. Okay, that's one. Okay, and the last one, I hope is not going to fall on my head. Okay, so I need two hands, but it's out. Here under the front bumper, yeah, it was a plastic cover just to 8mm. I removed that, it's right there. Now I'm going to remove the control arms from the subframe, not from the spindle. I have to remove this one, it's 18mm, this one as well. After that I'm going to remove this bar, yeah, that's 17mm I think. I can remove this completely after that. This side is done. Yep. This as well. Okay, now we have to remove this 13 nuts. 13mm, not 13. Oops, that's one. The second one. Okay, and I have to use two hands because I don't want to fall in my head. Okay, and we are starting with the other ones. Okay, this should come off. Yep. Now this one. Okay, let's move to this side. Okay, it's out. And I have to I need two hands in here. It's out, everything on this side is out, but I've kinda noticed now that I had to do that first because now it's moving the steering rack, yeah, and I'm not sure if I will be able to unbolt that now. I'm gonna try. If not, like this in here, I'm gonna put something underneath, and after that I'm going to, oops, whoa, I've got that on camera. Oh yeah. So now I have to remove just the steering rack and the engine mount, and after that I can start removing the subframe. And this is the setup for the steering rack. You will need a T40. You have to put it inside the bolt, yeah, and the 21 spanner, and you can undo this. And of course this side is giving me some problems. I welded bolt in here because I couldn't take this nut out, and I hope this is going to be strong enough. Let's see how it goes. And it's out. Sadly I had to cut the nut because there was no way to take it out. We have to remove this torque, yeah, torque screw in there. I think it's T30. Yeah, of course there is another one right in there. Yeah, as you can see I put a lot of tools to reach that. Normally you can lower a little bit the subframe, and after that, because you will have more space, but I managed to do this like this in this setup. Yeah, now engine mount, yeah, E12 tool. So okay, that's one. Come on. Second one. Hey, come on. Okay, the other side. Okay, and the last one. Hey, good. Now I'm going to recheck everything. I think I loosed everything. So yeah, the steering rack, these oil lines, this water line. If everything is okay, I'm going to start removing the subframe bolts, and I'm going to put a jack underneath because I don't want to die in here. And oil, of course. Now I can remove the plug. Yeah, it's like brand new because I've changed the oil. Now, moment of truth. Yeah, the subframe is with the jack. Now let's remove the bolts. Okay, that's one. Second one, and so on. It's finally out. After a few minutes of struggle, it's out. Now we have to go and take out the oil pan, of course. There is no time to lose because we have a few bolts. Yeah, as you can see, I've took out this side completely, and I have a few in this corner, and the oil pan should come off. And I put it in the order that was in the car, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to change all the bolts, yeah, with the new ones. And as you can see, we have just 5 that are different and longer. And in order to remove the bolts from the oil pan, you will need E12. Yeah, but I just have so big tool, yeah, and after you lose the bolts, you can use a 10mm socket as well. Now I think I removed everything. I'm gonna try to take the oil pan out, and I'm quite curious what's inside, because if you're new to my channel, you don't know, but I've cleaned this engine a few times. I had a lot of problems with oil filter full of, I'm not sure what, old burn oil, yeah, and I've cleaned the top of the engine, new filter, everything, new gasket, and now I'm quite sure what we have in the oil pan. Like I've said, everything is out. I just have to pry it a little bit and take the oil pan out. And it's finally out. Yeah, the oil pan is right in there, and in here is not that bad as I thought. Yep, we have some deposit in here and here and in this part, but other than that it's clean. Of course I've cleaned everything, yeah, the oil pan is clean. I have the new gasket in here, the new bolts, and I'm going to put some silicone on the oil pan just to keep the gasket till I put it on the engine. This is the next morning. Now I'm going to jump underneath to clean everything because I have daylight now and I see better than yesterday. I just want to show you something first. After you remove all the bolts from the oil pan, you will have, I didn't show you these 3, yeah, you have one in here, one in here. In these 2 it's a bracket. You have to remove that bracket, and after that is going to remain another one in here. It's very tight between the gearbox and the engine. You have to remove this as well, and after that you can lower the oil pan. It's finally in. I've tied everything. I hope everything is okay. I am going to recheck everything, and like I've said, this bracket goes in here. You will have one hole, another one, and the third one is right up in there. Let me try to show you. Yeah, right in there. Yeah, this bolts the oil pan gasket to the automatic transmission. It's very tight. Normally you can lower a little bit the engine, but I've managed to do like this with a swivel head 8mm socket. Yeah, and from here I'm gonna tight. And just a second to show you my tool. Yeah, I've used this tool, and you have to tight to 8 Newton meters. 8. Yeah, I've tied to 8.3 Newton meters because I've put some silicone, as you can see in there, and I didn't want to push the silicone to push a little bit to expand. Yeah, that's why I tied to 8.3 Newton meters. We are done in here, boys. We are done. So, subframe installed, control arms, tie rods, but just to keep the spindle straight, because this one is cut and I have to receive the new part, and after that I have to align the car. And I think just tomorrow I will receive my tie rods, and till tomorrow everything will remain in here like this. No oil inside, nothing. Till tomorrow the silicone is gonna be dry, and I'm gonna put oil, tie rods, and start the car to see if we have any leaks. I'm pretty sure that we won't have any leaks because everything is new. It's done by the book. Of course I forgot something. Let me try to show you in there. Just a second. Yeah, see that? I forgot to tighten that bolt, and for that I have to remove the air box now. Now you can see here clearly what I was talking about. I removed the air box, and in there you see you will have a T30 for the oil lines. One in there and two in the front. One here and another one right in there. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I've removed the engine support. Yeah, it's already past a few hours, more than 6 hours I think, and I'm going to put something cheap for now because I'm going to use a flush as well, because I've cleaned everything underneath and I don't want to go in the whole engine. That's why I'm going to use some cheap oil. Yeah, but you can see in here BMW long life. Yeah, this is approval. Now I have to wait till tomorrow to see if we have any oil leak. Yeah, it sounds a little bit funny because I've just started the car and the car was completely drained out of oil. Yeah, so it's gonna take half a minute or something like that till the oil reaches everywhere. And like I said, I'm gonna give you an update tomorrow morning to see if we have a leak or we don't. Another day, another hope that everything is okay. So I'm going underneath the car for the first time, and we are going to see together if everything is okay or not. Yep. So yeah, moment of truth. The car ran for 10-15 minutes, and now we can see if we have any leaks. Starting from here, everything seems to be dry. Yeah, in here as well. Nice, nice. Let's see in here. Yep, everything is dry, and should be dry because everything is new. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't look that good, the silicone, but I had to do that because it was very tight in here. Until you put the oil pan, the gasket will slide, and that's why I had to do the silicone. I'm quite happy. Finally, I've wanted to do this job for a year, almost a year now, and now it's done. I'm gonna drive like this without the shield or anything underneath, just to follow in a week if I have a leak or not. But I can say, job done.